Ada was a girl who loved things that were far away. While other children looked at the bugs in the grass, Ada looked at the birds in the high branches and the clouds drifting like giant marshmallows. But most of all, she loved the silver dots that blinked in the deep, dark night. She wondered if the stars were lonely up there, so far from the world. "I want to see them closer," Ada whispered to her drawing pad. She went to the garage and found a long, sturdy cardboard tube that used to hold a giant map. She held it to her eye and peeked through. The world looked like a small, round circle. It was a good start, but it wasn't a telescope yet. It needed something special to help it see across the neighborhood and into the clouds. Her neighbor, Silas, walked over with a small wooden box. Silas knew everything about fixing clocks and hummingbirds. "A long tube needs a magic eye to see the secrets of the sky," he said with a wink. He opened the box to reveal 2 shimmering circles of glass. They caught the light and threw tiny rainbows across the floor. Together, they went to the workbench. They polished the glass until it shone like a mirror. With careful hands, they taped the lenses to each end of the tube. Silas showed Ada how to make sure they were straight. "Telescopes are like bridges," he explained. "They bring the faraway things right to your front door." Silas took a final look through the lens to make sure everything was in place. He adjusted the angle of the glass with a steady, practiced hand. He nodded with a smile, knowing that the magic eye was now ready to capture the light from millions of miles away. When the sun finally dipped behind the hills, the sky turned a dusty purple. Ada and Silas carried the telescope out to the garden, past the sleeping tulips. The air was cool, and the first few stars began to pop out like tiny light bulbs being switched on one by one. While they waited for the sun to go down, Ada decided to make the telescope look as magical as the stars. She grabbed her paints and her scissors. She painted the tube a deep, cosmic blue and glued on tiny paper moons and yellow stars. Now, the telescope looked like a piece of the night sky that she could hold in her very own hands. Ada placed the telescope on its stand and squinted into the lens. At first, everything was dark and blurry. She felt a little disappointed. But then, she remembered what Silas said about bridges. She slowly turned the dial, and suddenly, the blurry gray smudge snapped into a brilliant, sparkling diamond. Silas pointed a finger toward a cluster of stars that looked like a giant spoon. "Look there," he whispered. "The stars aren't just dots, Ada. They are the ink of the universe. If you look closely, you can see the stories they are trying to tell us." Ada looked again and gasps. She saw a great bear walking across the north, and a brave hunter chasing a golden bull. Every star was a word, and every constellation was a chapter. She realized that the sky wasn't lonely at all, it was a giant library, and she finally had the key to read it.